Extremely sad. The attacks in Paris last night have shaken the whole world, and it reminds me of the 9/11 attacks in New York and also the Mumbai serial blasts, which were very similar in nature. Sympathies to the people of France, and I can understand what exactly must be going on in their minds. It is very essential that governments around, all over the world um, have greater cooperation with each other in matters of sharing intelligence. I believe um, that the Mumbai blasts were a serious result of intelligence failure, and whereas it is very difficult to understand what exactly caused the Paris blast, uh, it is quite likely that some intelligence failed over there also. Major cities like Mumbai and Paris are very prone to terrorist attacks because of the fact that these are that there's a very high growth of urban population, and also there are vast tracts of land which the government does not cover in all these major cities. So you keep seeing many some terrorist attacks or the other in all these major cities, whether it's Mumbai, London, New York, or Paris for that matter. Some time back we also had in Australia. So a lot of intelligence cooperation will be required, and as far as the impact on global financial markets is concerned, I definitely feel this will have some impact because some attention will now be divided in terms of trying to find out what has actually caused this. And economic activity normally does take a little backseat when such coordinated terrorist attacks take place. If you recollect, even during 9/11 attacks in the United States, there was quite a subdued economic activity which followed thereafter. France being an important part of Europe, definitely this will further foster deterioration in economic activity in Europe, and their economic activity signals could really fall down further. All this, I believe, is going to act to further deter global economic revival, and this will have impact on the world financial markets. Now, as far as the broad outlook of financial markets is concerned, I would like to point out a historical precedent. In the last 2 years of a 2 year presidency, normally you find that the stock markets face some disruption in economic activity. In this case, you are finding that the credit markets are beginning to face disruptions. The spread between the double B bonds and the investment grade bonds um, is the highest since 2007. What I'm trying to say is, if you were to take the investment grade bonds, which is the double A rated bonds, and consider the spread between these investment grade bonds and the single B bonds in the United States, then the spread has really widened dramatically, leading to possible disruptions in the credit market. And more often than ever, it has been noticed that whenever these disruptions in credit markets take place, they lead to disruptions in equity markets as well, which do fall as a result. So we are seeing two new things that are beginning to develop on the horizon right now. One is that the spreads are widening in the United States between the investment grade and a non-investment grade or the less investment grade bonds. Secondly, there are heightened terrorist activities around the world which would really sap away the energy of economic growth all over the world. These factors, along with many others, could lead to a bear market um, in the near future. In this context, do not forget the fact that there is a likelihood of 28 to 30% of disruptions, economic disruptions in the last 2 years of a two-term presidency rule in the U.S. So we could see these examples in the case of Eisenhower, Nixon, Reagan, Clinton, Bush, and now Obama. Donald Trump says that the US Fed has been unduly accommodative to support President Obama, and it's time to tighten up monetary policy. Federal Reserve Governor Rosenberg feels that if there has been a very accommodative monetary policy, it could lead to excesses in the economy, and this could therefore lead to economic disruptions. So, all the cases being made for a climb down in stocks. You may see some superficial rallies taking place from time to time, but they will be short lived. This is my very brief analysis as to what lies ahead and why I am negative on stocks in over the next 1 year period. I believe, and I very strongly think that the market gurus who keep saying that, okay, markets have corrected so much, this is a good time to enter, are not taking cognizance of this fact that the bearish signals are very high, are greater in number than the bullish signals. I mean, what is going to drive growth? Even if you look at the startups, the valuations that they are fetching are indicative of a bubble brewing in that area in the Silicon Valley in California. Look at pharma stocks. The biotech valuations are just beyond normal. These are not the scenarios in which equity markets thrive. Equity markets thrive when the valuations are low and going higher, not when you reach the top and the bubble is about to burst. So investors, please be cautious. These are difficult times. Bear market in stocks is round the corner, and I would advise that be very stock selective, be cautious in selecting stocks, and do not get carried away by market gurus and fund managers who keep saying that the markets have corrected enough, that just go ahead and buy stocks now, or they keep saying, hey, you can never time the markets, just buy whenever, any day is a good day. What if the markets tank 25 to 30%? In the last 2 years of any US presidency, an average of 28 to 30% decline has been seen in stocks. Now, what if you put $100 or £100 today and it gets reduced to 70 within a year? How are you going to face that situation? Why don't you stay out of the markets then for some time? Why don't you take some sincere advice? And when the markets have corrected good enough, well enough, re enter the markets at that point of time. Happy investing. Take care. Bye bye.